It's Wednesday, February 11th, 2026, and you're listening to KoiCast. Apparently, it's Make a Friend Day, which is perfect because today we're making friends with some suspiciously capable open models. I'm Hunter.
And I'm Riley. Also, it's Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk Day, which is exactly how I feel watching my GPU budget evaporate. And yes, this episode was fully cooked by automation. If a sentence feels like it time traveled from the future and got a little car sick, that's the vibe.
Today's big thread is Google's Gemma 3 showing up for broad use, like it just casually wandered into everyone's tool stack. Together AI listings, multiple sizes, instruction-tuned variants, and the ecosystem is yelling about long context.
Meanwhile, X is doing the thing where it sees a rumored meta model and immediately starts writing fan fiction. Llama 5 leak chatter, codename Avocado, and a whole lot of it's going to be 10 times cheaper so intelligence is now free.
And then Sarvam is over here quietly shipping real-world stuff. Saaras V3 speech-to-text across a ton of Indian languages, Bulbul V3 text-to-speech, plus their Vision OCR. That's not as memeable, but it's insanely workflow relevant.
Okay, Hunt, start with Gemma 3. People keep saying open weights like it's a personality trait. In 2026, what does open actually buy a creator or a marketing team besides more compliance homework?
Yeah, open is not free, it's controllable. The real win is you can put the model where your data already lives. You can run it in your own environment, lock it down, build repeatable prompts, build evals, fine-tune for your brand voice, and you're not one pricing change away from rewriting your whole pipeline.
But you do inherit the adult problems, like, congrats, now you're the platform.
Totally, you inherit hosting, monitoring, prompt injection defenses, output validation, and yeah, licensing. But for high-volume ops, open weights is leverage, especially with the smaller Gemma 3 sizes. If you're generating a million product snippets or doing segmentation copy for ads, you don't want frontier model pricing for every comma.
Let's talk long context. Everybody is drooling over the 128,000 context vibe. Where does that actually win in marketing without just enabling longer hallucinations?
Long context is only a flex if you use it as a controlled workspace. The best use cases are things like ingesting a whole brand book, plus past campaigns, plus current offers, plus compliance rules, then generating variants that stay inside guardrails. Or doing multi-document synthesis like, here's the quarterly customer research, here are call transcripts, here are support tickets, now give me themes and draft a campaign angle.
A pushback. Most teams I see will just paste in a novel and then trust whatever comes out. That's how you get a beautifully written lie with perfect formatting.
Exactly. Long context needs structure. You should chunk inputs, label sources, and force citations inside the context, and then you validate. Like, if it outputs claims, you make it point back to a snippet you provided. No snippet, no claim.
So long context is less infinite memory, more bigger whiteboard.
Yeah, and it's also great for agent workflows. If you've got an automation that's doing research to outline, to drafts, to repurposing, long context helps it keep continuity without constantly reloading state.
Okay, together AI listings made Gemma 3 feel like an overnight rollout. Is that real adoption, or is it platforms basically deciding what's inevitable by distributing it?
It's both. Developers love good enough, cheap, and available today. But distribution is the multiplier. When a model shows up inside the tools people already use, it becomes the default experiment. And once it's in a few stacks, it's in templates, then in automations, then in someone's agency playbook.
So it's like when a song pops on every TikTok template and suddenly it's the sound of the month.
Exactly. The platform makes it feel like culture, and then culture makes it real.
Okay, now the spicy part. Gemma 3 has all these sizes. What's your rule of thumb for small enough to be cheap without quietly tanking brand voice and accuracy?
I start with risk. If it's high-stakes claims, legal, medical, financial, or anything that can get you sued or roasted, you use a stronger model plus tighter review gates. If it's high-volume, low-risk, like first-pass subject lines, metadata, rough outlines, audience segmentation tags, or internal brainstorming, small models are amazing.
But brand voice is sneaky. Even for low-risk stuff, a small model can sand off all your personality and you end up with exciting news syndrome.
True, so you give it a voice pack. Not like be witty, but actual examples. Your best performing ads, your best hooks, your style constraints, words you never say. Then you run a simple brand voice check. If it fails, it gets rewritten or escalated to a bigger model.
I love that you're basically describing a casting process. Like, small model is the intern doing drafts, big model is the senior editor, and humans are the showrunner.
That's the co-creation sweet spot.
Researchers also talked about RL-style fine-tuning on Gemma 312B to reduce hallucinations. What's the most credible path for normal teams to get that benefit without building a whole ML org?
Most teams shouldn't jump straight into hardcore reinforcement learning. The accessible version is build a small dataset of your real tasks, define what wrong looks like, and run evaluation continuously. Then do lightweight fine-tuning or preference tuning if you need it. But honestly, the bigger win is retrieval plus verification.
Like, stop asking the model to remember and give it the facts.
Exactly. Put your truth in a knowledge base, pull the relevant chunks, and force it to stay grounded. Then add validators, check numbers, check claims, check links, check formatting. You can reduce hallucinations a ton without fancy training, just by building grown-up guardrails.
All right, let's jump to the meta leak. Avocado dramatic efficiency gains, and everyone's like, text generation is about to be free.
Leak narratives always run ahead of reality. But let's assume the direction is true, inference gets way cheaper. Then the model stops being the moat.
So what becomes the unfair advantage? Data, distribution, taste, regulation?
Taste and distribution get huge. If everyone can generate decent text cheaply, the winners are the teams with a clear point of view, great creative direction, and the systems to ship and test fast. Also, proprietary first-party data becomes more valuable because personalization at scale becomes feasible.
And the dark side is spam. Like, if it's 10 times cheaper, it's 10 times easier to flood every channel with synthetic content.
That's the thing people miss. Efficiency doesn't just democratize good, it industrializes bad. So you'll see platforms tighten authenticity filters, and brands will need stronger provenance and review steps, especially for paid spend.
Also, if Meta ships Llama 5 as near open or API only, do you think the open community shrugs and moves on?
If it's API only, a lot of builders will treat it like any other closed model and keep investing in open alternatives like Gemma, Mistral-style ecosystems, and whatever else is weight available. But if Meta does a near-open but restricted thing, you'll see fragmentation. People will fork tooling, standardize on interoperable formats, and basically route around lock-in.
Okay, Sarvam. This one is less ooh shiny model and more this changes actual business. Saaras V3 speech-to-text across about 22 Indian languages plus English plus code mix speech. Where's the first real ROI?
Call analytics, immediately. You turn unstructured calls into structured data, intents, objections, competitor mentions, sentiment, next steps. Then you feed that into your CRM and campaign engine. You get better lead qualification and faster creative feedback loops.
Wait, and with Bulbul V3 text-to-speech, you can spin up localized voice agents and ads that don't sound like a robot reading a bank statement.
Totally. And Sarvam Vision OCR matters because so much marketing data in the real world is still PDFs, scanned documents, forms, and screenshots. OCR that works across index scripts unlocks searchable archives and automation that used to be manual.
Are we finally at voice plus documents automation that works in messy real life? Or is this still duct tape and humans?
It's both. The models are finally good enough that the bottleneck is workflow design. You still need human review for edge cases, you need fallback logic when audio is noisy, you need QA when OCR reads a number wrong, but the baseline is now strong enough to justify building the pipeline.
Which is the whole thesis of this show. Humans set intent, machines do the grind, and we keep the weird bits in because real systems are messy.
Exactly. And speaking of the ecosystem, it's been a week of stack splitting. We've got video tools pushing multi-shot consistency, audio generation getting time-aligned and more controllable, assistants becoming ad surfaces, and now openish text models getting cheaper and more deployable.
Yeah, like the vibe is content factories are getting a control room. Not just generate, but generate, test, validate, localize, and ship on loop.
And Gemma 3 plus Sarvam is basically that, from two angles. Gemma is text and multimodal reasoning you can deploy. Sarvam is language access for a huge market, which is the difference between AI demo and AI actually helps my business.
Final question. If you had to meme this week for creators, what's the caption?
When the model is open weights but your budget is closed wallet.
Mine is, long context means I can hallucinate in higher definition.
Perfect. All right, thanks for hanging with us on CoeCast. If you made a new AI friend today, it's on brand for Make a Friend Day.
And if your automation spilled milk all over your workflow, don't cry. Just add a validator and pretend that was the plan.
Subscribe if you want more of these fast breakdowns for creators and marketers building human plus machine workflows.
And go check out coe.com/resources for AI news and updates. Catch you next time.